It was a cold evening. The sky was turning dark, and heavy clouds moved slowly across the horizon. The sound of thunder could be heard far away. On a quiet road outside the city, a silver luxury car stood still. Its headlights were dim, and smoke came from under the hood. Inside the car sat Ethan Gray, a man in his early 30s. He wore a black suit, an expensive watch, and the kind of shoes only rich people wear. He was a millionaire businessman, known for his success and his pride. But tonight, he was not looking powerful. He looked lost and angry. His phone had no signal, and his car had completely stopped working. "Great. Just great," he muttered, kicking the tire. The road was empty. Not a single car passed. He tried again to start the engine, but it refused. Then the rain began, slowly at first, then heavier. Ethan sighed and stepped out, his shoes sinking into the mud. As he stood there, a small old car appeared from a distance. The headlights flickered, and the sound of the engine was rough. The car stopped beside him. The window rolled down, and a soft voice said, "Need help?" Ethan turned. The driver was a woman in her late 20s, wearing a simple blue jacket and her hair tied in a messy bun. Her face looked tired, but her eyes were kind. "I'm fine," Ethan replied quickly. "Just waiting for a tow truck." The woman smiled gently. "In this weather, you'll be waiting all night." Before he could answer, she stepped out with an umbrella and opened the hood of his car. "Looks like the radiator's overheated," she said calmly, like she knew what she was doing. Ethan stared at her in surprise. "You know about cars?" "A little," she said with a shy laugh. "My dad was a mechanic. He taught me some things." Her name was Maya, and she lived nearby with her little son. She had been driving home from the grocery store when she saw Ethan's car stopped in the rain. Ethan watched as Maya worked. Her hands were cold, but steady. The rain made her clothes damp, yet she didn't complain. After a few minutes, she stepped back and said, "Try now." Ethan turned the key. The engine roared to life. He blinked, surprised. "It's working." Maya smiled. Sometimes all it needs is a small push. For the first time that night, Ethan smiled too. "You really saved me. How can I thank you?" Maya shook her head. "No need. Just drive safe." Before she left, Ethan noticed something, a ring on her finger. It looked like a wedding ring, but old and faded. He wondered if she was married. "Your husband must be waiting," he said politely. Her smile faded for a second. "Yeah, maybe," she replied softly. Then she quickly waved goodbye and got back into her car. Ethan watched her drive away into the rain. Something about her felt different. She didn't seem like other people he knew. She helped a stranger without asking anything. He sat in his car, thinking about her. Then he noticed something strange. She had dropped a small silver bracelet near his tire. He picked it up, planning to return it. But at that moment, thunder struck again, and the bracelet slipped from his hand onto the wet road. He looked out. But Maya's car had already disappeared into the storm as he drove away. He couldn't stop thinking about her, the single mom who appeared out of nowhere, fixed his car, and vanished, leaving behind a ring on her finger and a mystery in his mind. Little did he know, this was not the last time he would see her. Their paths were about to cross again, in a way neither of them expected. 3 days had passed since the rainy night. Ethan Gray was back in his glass office tower, surrounded by people who worked for him. Yet, his mind was somewhere else. He couldn't stop thinking about the woman who helped him on the road, Maya. He had met hundreds of people. But something about her eyes and her voice stayed in his mind. He even remembered the silver bracelet she dropped. It was still lying on the seat of his car, shining like a tiny secret. That morning, Ethan's company had a problem. One of their charity partners had dropped out from a community project, a small town rebuilding program. The project was supposed to start in a few days, and now they had no local manager to handle it. Ethan decided to visit the area himself. The town's name was Willow Creek, a quiet place an hour away from the city. As his car drove through the narrow streets, he saw small shops, smiling faces, and kids running in the park. It was peaceful, very different from his fast city life. When he reached the community center, he stepped out and looked around. Inside, he heard laughter and voices. He walked in and froze. There she was, Maya. She was standing near a group of children, helping them paint signs for the project. Her hair was tied back, her hands covered in color, and her face bright with joy. She looked different from the night he first saw her, lighter, happier. Ethan smiled a little. "Small world," he said quietly. Maya turned and gasped. "You," Ethan nodded. "Seems like fate wanted me to meet my mechanic again." She laughed softly, wiping her hands on a towel. "What are you doing here?" "I'm the one funding this project," he said. "We're helping rebuild some houses and schools here." Her eyes widened. "You're that Ethan Gray?" He shrugged. "Guilty." For a moment, they both smiled awkwardly. Then Ethan pulled out something from his pocket, the silver bracelet. "You dropped this that night," he said, handing it to her. Maya stared at it in surprise. "I thought I lost it forever," she whispered. "It was my mom's." There was a silence between them. She looked down, hiding something behind her calm face. Ethan could feel that her smile didn't tell the full story. A little boy came running toward her. "Mommy, look what I made," he said, showing her a paper heart. Ethan blinked. "Mommy." Maya hugged the boy and smiled. "That's beautiful, Ben." Ethan felt a strange warmth inside. So, she was a single mom. He watched as she played with her son, and for the first time he saw what true love looked like. Simple and pure. Later, as the sun went down, Maya walked with Ethan around the site. "I'm helping here part-time," she explained. "After my husband, well, things got hard. I needed something that made me feel useful again." Ethan didn't ask what happened, but his eyes fell again on the ring on her finger. "You still wear it?" he said softly. She looked at it for a second. "Some rings are easier to wear than to remove," she whispered. Her words stayed in his mind long after. That evening, Maya's car wouldn't start again. She sighed, frustrated. Ethan smiled. "Looks like it's my turn to help," he said. He drove her and Ben home. Their house was small, but warm and full of life. Kids' drawings on the wall, the smell of soup in the air. Ben waved goodbye from the window as Ethan left, driving away. Ethan realized something. He hadn't felt this peaceful in years, but he didn't know that this peaceful feeling was only the calm before the storm. Because soon, a secret from Maya's past would change everything. The next few weeks passed quietly in Willow Creek. Ethan's company project was running well, but he found himself visiting more often than necessary. He told his team it was to check the progress, but deep down he knew it was because of Maya. Every time he arrived, she was there helping children, organizing food drives, smiling at everyone. She was different from the people in his world. No designer clothes, no makeup, no fancy words, just kindness and strength. Ethan didn't know when he started looking forward to seeing her. Maybe it was the way she laughed when Ben, her son, played around, or the calmness in her eyes, even when life wasn't easy. One afternoon, while helping her carry paint boxes, Ethan asked, "Maya, why do you still wear that ring?" Maya stopped walking for a second. She looked at the ring, a simple golden band, scratched and old. Then she smiled faintly. "Because it reminds me of promises," she said softly. "Promises?" Ethan asked. She nodded. "Not all promises end with happy endings, but some. Teach us how strong we are." Her answer only made him more curious, but he didn't want to push her. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He sat by his window, staring at the rain outside. He thought about her, about how someone could still smile after losing so much. He remembered her saying her husband was gone, but never said where or how. The next morning, he went to the center early. Maya wasn't there yet, but little Ben was playing with his toy car. Ethan crouched beside him. "That's a cool car," he said. Ben grinned. "It's like yours." "Mommy says rich people cars break faster." Ethan laughed. "She's not wrong." And Ben said something that made Ethan's heart stop. "Mommy said Daddy's car broke too, and he never came back." Ethan froze. "Your daddy's car?" Ben nodded, still playing. "He went far away." Mommy said he'll never come home. Ethan didn't know what to say. There was a story behind those words, something Maya never told him. Later that day, Maya came in, looking tired. When she saw Ethan talking to Ben, she smiled, but her eyes showed worry. "Ben, go help Miss Clara with the books," she said gently. When Ben left, she turned to Ethan. "What did he tell you?" "Nothing bad," Ethan said softly. "Just about his dad," Maya sighed, her shoulders sinking. "He remembers pieces. I wish he didn't." There was silence between them. Ethan wanted to ask more, but he could see the pain in her eyes. Instead, he said, "You don't have to tell me. Not until you're ready." She gave him a thankful smile, the kind that said more than words. As the week went by, they grew closer. They shared lunch, laughter, and stories. Ethan even taught Ben how to ride a bike. The boy called him Mr. E and followed him everywhere. For the first time in years, Ethan felt something real, not about business. Not about money, but about people. One evening, Maya invited him for dinner. It was simple: soup, bread, and laughter. They talked for hours. But when Ethan mentioned love, her face changed. "I stopped believing in love long ago," she said quietly. "Why?" he asked. "Because love took everything from me." Before he could speak, there was a knock at the door. Maya stood up, confused. She opened it and froze. A man stood there, wet from rain, holding flowers. His face looked tired, but familiar. "Maya," he said in a shaky voice, "I'm back." The ring on her finger suddenly didn't look like a memory anymore. It looked like a truth returning from the past. Ethan stood behind her, stunned. The little boy ran to the door shouting, "Daddy!" Maya's hands trembled. Ethan realized the man was her husband. The one she said was gone. And the look in her eyes said everything. Her quiet world was about to break again. The air inside the small house turned heavy. The sound of rain outside seemed louder than before. Maya stood frozen at the door, her heart beating fast. It was him, Daniel, the man she once called her husband. The man she thought she would never see again. "Maya." "Please," Daniel said, his voice shaking. "I know you didn't expect me. But I'm here now." Ethan stood in silence, his hands clenched. He didn't know whether to leave or stay. He could see the shock on Maya's face, the fear in her eyes. Little Ben hugged Daniel's legs, smiling. "Daddy, you came back?" Daniel knelt down, hugging his son tightly. "I missed you so much, buddy," he whispered, his eyes wet. Ethan's chest tightened. He quietly stepped back, trying not to make a sound. But Maya turned to him quickly. "Ethan, wait." He stopped, his eyes meeting hers. For a moment, they both said nothing. So much was hidden in that silence, confusion, pain, and something unspoken. Daniel looked up, noticing Ethan for the first time. "Who's this?" he asked sharply. Maya took a breath. "He's a friend. He helped us with the community project." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "A friend, huh? You sure?" Ethan stepped forward calmly. "I should go. It looks like you have things to talk about." Without another word, he left. The rain hit his shoulders as he walked to his car, but he didn't feel it. Inside, his heart was burning. Inside the house, Maya sat quietly while Daniel stood by the window. Ben had gone to his room, humming happily, unaware of the storm between his parents. Daniel turned to her. "You didn't tell me you moved here?" "I didn't know where you were," she replied softly. "You left without a word, Daniel? For 3 years?" He sighed. "I made mistakes, I know. But I was trying to fix things. I got into trouble. Debts, wrong people. But I'm clean now. I came back for you both." Maya looked down at her hands. The ring on her finger glinted faintly in the light. "That ring kept me strong when you were gone. But it also kept me stuck in pain." Daniel stepped closer. "I can change that, Maya. I want my family back." Her eyes filled with tears. "You can't fix what's already broken, Daniel. You left me to raise Ben alone. You don't just walk back and expect things to be the same." He frowned. "So what now? You found someone else?" Maya looked up sharply. No. Ethan is just... She stopped herself, because deep down, she wasn't sure what Ethan was anymore. Daniel gave a cold smile. He seems to care more than just a friend. She turned away, not answering. Meanwhile, Ethan sat alone in his car, parked outside. He watched the house from a distance, rain dripping down the windshield. He knew he shouldn't be there, but he couldn't drive away. His mind was full of questions. Who was that man? Why did he come back now? He remembered the sadness in Maya's eyes, the way she had looked trapped between the past and the present. Hours later, the light in the house went off. Ethan finally drove home, but sleep didn't come. The next morning, Maya came to the community center as usual, but her smile was gone. People greeted her, but she barely heard them. Ethan was already there helping with boxes. When he saw her, he froze. "Maya," he said quietly. She looked at him, her eyes red. "I'm sorry for last night. You don't have to apologize," he said softly. "He's your husband." She shook her head. He was... But things are complicated now. Ethan wanted to ask more, but before he could, a familiar voice came from behind them. "Ah, so this is where you two meet." It was Daniel. He walked in, pretending to smile, but his eyes were full of suspicion. He looked at Ethan. "Thanks for helping my wife." "And my son?" Ethan met his gaze. "You're welcome." Daniel leaned closer. "But you can stop now. I'm here." The message was clear: stay away. Maya looked down, feeling trapped once again. Ethan didn't respond. He just looked at her one last time before walking away, but deep inside, made a silent promise. He wouldn't let her face her pain alone, because something about Daniel didn't feel right. And soon, Ethan would find out why. The days after Daniel's return felt heavier for Maya. She smiled in front of others, but her heart carried a quiet fear. Every morning, she came to the community center pretending life was normal, helping, laughing, and hiding the storm inside her. Ethan noticed the change. The sparkle in her eyes was gone. She spoke less. She seemed distant, trapped in thoughts she didn't want to share. One evening, when most people had gone home, Ethan found her sitting alone, staring at her phone. "Maya," he said softly, "you've been quiet. Are you okay?" She looked up slowly. "You ever wish you could erase the past?" He nodded. "All the time." She smiled weakly. "Daniel says he wants to make things right. But I don't know if I can trust him again. Has he changed?" Ethan asked carefully. Her silence was answer enough. She finally whispered, "He's trying, but he's still the same, secretive, controlling. I can feel it." Ethan's chest tightened. "If you're not safe, you can tell me." Maya looked at him, her eyes full of emotion. "You've already done enough. Please don't get involved." He wanted to respect her wish, but something inside him wouldn't let go. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He remembered Daniel's cold stare, the way his smile never reached his eyes. Something was wrong. The next day, Ethan asked his assistant to run a quiet check on Daniel's name. What came back shocked him. Criminal records, unpaid debts, and a case of fraud. Daniel had been in trouble more than once. And worse. One of the reports said he was under investigation again. It's time for stealing money from a business investor. Ethan realized Daniel hadn't come back for love. He had come back for something else. He rushed to the community center, but Maya wasn't there. Her car was gone. He called her, no answer. He tried again and again, until finally she picked up. Her voice was shaking. "Ethan, I can't talk right now. Maya, listen to me. Daniel isn't who you think he is. He's in trouble again." There was silence, then a whisper. "I know, he found out I saw the papers. He's angry." Ethan's heart pounded. "Where are you?" "At home." "Please don't come." But before she could finish, the call ended. Ethan drove straight to her house, his car speeding through the dark streets. Rain began to fall again, just like the night they first met. When he reached the small house, the front door was open. The lights flickered inside. He ran in, Maya. In the kitchen, he found her standing near the table, tears on her face. Daniel was there too, holding a small envelope in his hand. "You lied to me," Daniel said, his voice full of rage. "You told me you had nothing. But this," he held up the envelope, "this says your land is worth thousands. And guess what? The company buying it is his." He pointed at Ethan. Maya gasped. "It's not like that." Ethan didn't know Daniel slammed the envelope on the table. "You think I'm stupid? You and your rich friend planned this, didn't you?" Ethan stepped forward. "Daniel, calm down. You're scaring her." Daniel laughed bitterly. "Stay out of this, millionaire. You don't belong in our world." Before things could go worse, Ben came running from his room. "Mommy." Maya rushed to hold him. "It's okay, baby," seeing his son. Daniel's anger softened for a moment. He looked broken, torn between hate and regret. Ethan took a step closer. "If you really love them, walk away. Don't destroy what's left." Daniel's eyes filled with tears. He dropped the envelope and turned toward the door. "You think you know everything, Ethan, but you don't know what it feels like to lose everything." He walked out into the rain and disappeared into the night. Maya sank to the floor, crying. Ethan knelt beside her. "It's over," he whispered, but deep down, both knew it wasn't over yet, because the next morning, news would spread that Daniel Gray, a man with debts and secrets, had vanished, and someone had taken all the money meant for the town's project. The sun had not yet risen when the news spread. Daniel Gray was missing. His car was found abandoned near the old bridge outside Willow Creek. The police searched the area but found nothing. Inside the car, there was only an empty wallet, a wet jacket, and one torn envelope, the same one from Maya's house. People in town whispered rumors. Some said Daniel ran away. Others said something bad had happened. Maya sat on her porch, holding a cup of tea with trembling hands. Her eyes were red from crying, and the ring on her finger glimmered faintly in the early light. Ethan arrived quietly. He didn't speak right away. He just sat beside her, letting the silence fill the air. Finally, Maya whispered, "He's gone." Ethan nodded. "The police are looking. They'll find him." She shook her head. "No, Daniel doesn't want to be found. He always runs when things fall apart." There was a pause. Then she turned to him, her voice low. "But this time, I think he wanted me to hate him enough to let him go." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" Maya took a deep breath. "Last night, before you came, he told me something. He said he had taken the money from the project account, but not to keep it. He said he transferred it to my name." Ethan's eyes widened. "He said it was the only way to protect me and Ben. He said the people he owed money to were dangerous. He wanted them to think I took it, not him." Then he left. Ethan felt a cold wave inside. "Maya, that means you're in danger now." She nodded slowly. "I know." A few days later, investigators confirmed the stolen money was indeed transferred to her account. But they also discovered something else. Daniel had left behind a signed confession letter. He had written that he alone took the money, and that Maya and Ethan had no part in it. The letter ended with one simple line, "Tell Maya I kept my last promise to keep her safe." When Ethan read it, he felt both sadness and relief. Daniel's disappearance still hurt Maya deeply, but now there was peace in knowing the truth. Weeks passed. Life in Willow Creek slowly returned to normal. The charity project continued, and Ethan made sure no one blamed Maya. One afternoon, he found her planting flowers outside the new school building. Her smile had returned, gentle but real. "You never stop helping people," Ethan said. She looked up. "Helping others keeps me alive," he smiled softly. "And you helped me too, you know?" She tilted her head. "How?" "You reminded me what really matters," he said. "Not money, not success, but kindness. The kind you showed me that night on the road." Maya's eyes softened. "That night changed everything for both of us." Ethan nodded. "It did." He reached into his pocket and pulled out something, the old silver bracelet she had dropped long ago. "You still kept it?" she asked, surprised. "It reminded me of you," he said, "of how a stranger taught a millionaire what love and courage mean." Tears filled her eyes, but they were tears of peace, not pain. Later that evening, as the sun set over the hills, Maya stood by the window holding the ring on her finger. She smiled faintly and whispered, "Goodbye, Daniel. Thank you for keeping your promise." Then slowly, she slipped the ring off and placed it beside the photo of her late husband. The golden band gleamed one last time in the sunset, not as a sign of sorrow, but as a symbol of closure. When Ethan knocked on the door, she turned, her face calm and free. "Ready?" he asked. "Yes," she said with a warm smile. "Ready for a new chapter?" They walked outside together, the cool breeze brushing against their faces. The sound of children laughing echoed from the school nearby. For the first time in years, Maya felt light. The past was behind her, the future waiting to be written. And as Ethan held the door open for her, she looked up at the sky and thought, sometimes life takes everything away, only to give back what's real. The millionaire had found meaning. The single mom had found peace. And the ring had finally told its truth.